Why, hello there. You've stumbled upon the Workshop of Lore, where 3 goblin boys create entire worlds. What gives them this power, you ask? Why, absolutely nothing. Welcome to Rotten to the Lore. Welcome back to Rotten to the Lore. I'm Blake.
I'm Sean.
And since we fucked up really hard last time,
we really made a big mistake.
And we said that Tony Shalhoub was in Scooby-Doo, and it's not. It's Rowan Atkinson.
It was Rowan Atkinson. I got confused because Tony Shalhoub was in Spy Kids.
Another great film. That is part of that franchise, by the way.
We own it.
We own it. Basically, we got a lot of criticism, both from Kingdom Hearts fans and from Rowan Atkinson fans. So we were contacted by Pope Francis himself, and he sent along one of his own correspondents. We have, at long last, our third goblin boy. It's Brandt.
Hello, my children. Francis says hello as well.
Frankie.
Good old Papa Frankie. Cool. So we're back. We're making lore. We're doing our thing. You know how it goes. So this time we decided to do something a little different. We went to dictionary.com and I hit the word of the day button. And we're going to use that to build our world. I know what it is. These 2 other boys do not. It's dumb perfect, and we might have to pick a different one. So the word of the day is Dullsville. I fucking shit you not. It's Dullsville.
Is that a word?
D-U-L-L?
S-V-I-L-L-E. Yeah, Dullsville.
What is the definition?
Okay, it is originally an Americanism. It is an obvious, self-explanatory compound. The suffix "ville" comes from the French. And then it goes on. It just means something boring or dull. This is Dullsville.
Okay. So it's a tier up from dull.
Yeah.
But like a tier down from boring?
Yes.
I suppose.
I feel like it's
a sweet spot.
It's dull, but with like some fun, like smarmy jive on it, you know? It's like something the Scooby Gang would say.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I guess they're from Coolsville.
Yeah.
Dullsville is the competing high school team.
Yes!
Okay.
Here's the lore.
So it's about 4 teenagers and their pet who commit crimes.
They're from Dullsville. This is
from Dullsville.
Okay, we've found something. Cool.
Not cool.
Dull.
So I feel like it's just like diametrically, it's like the fucking shadow realm of Scooby-Doo is Dullsville. You know?
Kind of like in Cyber Chase when they like see all their reflections of themselves. Except that's just the whole show.
That's the whole show. It all takes place in fucking the cyber. Oh my god, yeah, that's incredible. And I feel yes. But in this world, I think the difference here is that the good guy is the computer glitch. Like he's on the side of the good uns, and the gang, the Mystery Inc., which we will have to come up with a new name for. They're like the evil, awful overlords of Dullsville. Like they commit every crime and everyone knows it, but no one can pin it on it. Like, right?
Yeah.
They say, "Oh, you think we'll wear monster masks for this? No way!" Throw a Molotov cocktail through a bakery window. Because whereas there were just some schemes or like fraud occurring in Scooby-Doo, this is just blatant like hardcore criminal offense.
Like
terrorism,
murder
basically.
Yeah. It's the Dullsville gang. Okay, cool. Well, that's a perfect place to start. We'll start with our mystery terrorists themselves. Yeah. Not quite Mystery Inc. There's 4 members and an animal.
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't have to be a dog.
Oh no, it's not gonna be a dog.
God.
What's like the fucking Nightmarescape version of a dog? Like when H.R. Geiger thinks dog, what do we get?
I'm just imagining something both fleshy and bony, like just straight out of your nightmares.
just like a fucking horrifying roving beast.
Fleshy and bony.
Lovecraftian nightmare who none can speak of. Yeah, I feel like it's so horrifying. Like to see it is to go mad.
Yeah.
This anti Scooby Doo. It's just.
But see, that's the thing is the whole gang. It's similar to Bird Box, where the whole if you see it.
Seen Bird Box?
Have you seen Bird Box?
I have seen Bird Box.
Oh, that was a joke. I haven't seen Bird Box.
It's like if you see it, you either like go completely insane or you go just crazy enough that you join its cult. And that's the gang. Is their current cult.
That's perfect. Fuck yeah. Okay, so we have this eldritch horror.
Yog-Skoobath.
Yog-Skoobath.
Yeah. Let us. And this Lovecraftian horror, we can find a way to skirt around the racism of Lovecraft.
Yeah, I think we can cut that out. That's always been. I've said it once, and I'll say it again. The fact that Lovecraft was like racist and anti-Semitic with his like weird belief system doesn't make any fucking sense. He was like, yeah, we as humans like insignificant in the face of the world. Like humanity doesn't mean anything. But if you're not white, you mean fucking West. What did that? It doesn't make any sense.
I'm just glad he died penniless and alone.
I know. Yeah. Cool. So we have Yog-Skoobath, just the eldritch horror that none can describe.
Yeah.
The closest any have come.
He's still just as hungry as
yes.
Scooby, but not for the food of mortal men.
It's Skoobath Snacks, which is mortal souls.
Snacks. Okay.
Oh my god. So we have Yog-Skoobath.
Okay.
And they keep him. Yeah, they keep him inside. He's so grotesque that he can't move on his own. So they have to keep him inside a van that they drive around.
Yeah, that's like their transport.
Yeah, their transport for Yog-Skoobath, because he doesn't make sense in a rational like mortal comprehension. So he can't move physically, but he'll get inside your brain.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't.
I've seen the things the Skoobath can do. This place was once normal, dull even. But then Yog-Skoobath emerged from the ether, and it has not been the same since.
Brandt, Blake's eyes have gone black. You're an agent of the church.
I purged the Yog-Skoobath.
No, this is perfect. Okay, for those of you trying to, I know you come here to
to know exactly where to set your world.
Exactly, if you're trying to run your RPG. So you think Call of Cthulhu kind of situation here, you know, like Arkham Horror style, but also with a touch of hijinks in there. That's the basis we're going on.
Yeah, the starter set for our Dullsville pen and paper RPG comes with a small xylophone that you can do whenever your characters move anyway.
Okay.
Whimsical eldritch horror.
We take Livecraft, we take out the racism, and add hijinks. It's a perfect switch. Okay, so we have Yog-Skoobath. We gotta create the gang. We got 4. I don't think they have to be teenagers, but one of them should be, I think, right? Okay, so we start with the one, or maybe we should finish with the Shaggy, you know? Not only because he's the one closest to the Skoobath, but also because of, you know, Ultra Instinct Shaggy and stuff. He's officially not in Mortal Kombat, actually. That just happened. There's a petition to put Shaggy in Mortal Kombat, and it didn't happen.
I'm just saying we got like 6 minutes in. I was timing it. It took us like 6 minutes before we got to the Shaggy meeting.
Well, let's leave him for the end. I feel like he has to be the most powerful. You know?
Let's do.
He's definitely like the head.
Yeah.
Of the cult.
Yeah.
Velma, not to steal from Gary Gygax, says Vecna. Who has impeccable vision. She sees everything.
Okay, we have Vecna. That's good.
Except the thing is, there's always wacky situations whereby glasses are put on her face.
And so her vision becomes unclear.
Yeah, and she's like, glasses! I can't see with glasses! And it's still the same thing where she's on the ground pawing around, even though they're clearly just move your hand up.
Okay, we have Vecna. Vecna the All-Seeing, I feel like, is a fitting title there.
Yeah.
So what is she? What is she? You know?
I feel like she's.
What was she and what has she become?
I feel like she's now like the oracle of the group.
Yes.
Now she sees into the future and uses her visions to guide Yog-Skoobath in his journey of conquest. Are we going with conquest here?
Or I feel like none can understand the Skoobath's true motives. The only thing you know for sure is he hungers for the Skoobath snack. And his hunger is unquenchable.
Unquenchable.
So we have Vecna the All-Seeing. Definitely still wears an orange turtleneck.
Absolutely.
I think it's like alive. like
it's a bunch of small, really thin snakes.
Yeah.
Just woven together into a sweater.
Small, very thin snakes.
Beautiful. Okay, Vecna the All-Seeing. Daphne. Where do we go with Daphne? The hell is that?
We've been speaking too much of matters we shouldn't have.
You found
He's coming.
the Skoobath hungers. Okay, so Daphne, famously portrayed by Sarah Michelle Gellar in the one and only Scooby-Doo piece of content that matters.
The one we own.
What are Daphne's traits generally? She's rich and can fight good.
She's rich and can fight good.
And she's bonking Freddy for sure.
In the movie, they always say, I'm always used as the bait, even though I don't really remember her ever being...
Is she ever used as the bait? I feel like
in
Scooby
the
and
movie,
Shaggy
in the movie, that's like what Daphne's deal is. She's like, I'm tired of being used as the bait, you know?
I think they probably should have made something up because Daphne's like the most competent member of the group. I'd say.
Yeah.
Like no specific weak. Like Velma should be the most competent, but then she loses her glasses and is fucking useless. Like my glasses. Like you think she'd get one of those like you know those things the grandpas have that connects them in the back. Yeah. You think after a while, like in life or death situation, she'd be like, I'll sacrifice the style.
Yeah. Does she ever, like, blame it on her own glasses, though? Does she ever really go through the thought process of, like, I think my, like, performance is, like, decreased whenever I lose my glasses? Or does she just think, everything just goes wrong for me all the time?
Just no self-awareness of what is going wrong.
Which is why it's good that Vecna is aware of everything.
Everything, yes. Her blackened eyes and turtleneck of snakes.
I feel like...
got Daphne. Daphne, I feel like, is an immortal, maybe. Like, she's not rich. It's not that she's rich. She just comes from, like, a rich bloodline of, like, half-gods. And she was brought to the power of Yog-Skoobath because of her bloodline led her there. She's from an immortal line of fucking, like, warrior priests who worship madness.
Still rocking the purple.
Of course, purple go-go boots are a must. It is a cultural standpoint for her people. Daphne Blake. I will say her last name is Blake, so I'm just gonna throw that out there. I feel a particular kinship with her, which is why I made her cool and not a snake-wearing creature of the night.
Didn't have anything. I said and I thought the laugh would buoy me to some sort of something, but it just sounded like a car dying. Fred. Fred, he loves laying traps. This Fred does too, but he's bad at it. I feel like he's like, no, nobody should, people should step on that manhole cover, and it's just clearly a bear trap with a neon sign.
I like to imagine, like, Fred is probably the most physically fit of the gang, so he's like a frail old man.
Yes!
And so all he has is his traps.
I have my traps! And Daphne, who's like a literal half-god, is like, we need not these traps, mortal.
Come through my hallway, please!
Clearly an axe blade swinging.
I know not what you talk of.
I like how we're making, like, this is now a campaign setting wherein it's like you can include the villain of this arc is Fred.
Yeah.
And it's like in the book, it's like explaining who Fred is, and then it's typical Fred encounters.
The hallway axe swing. Like,
Hallway axe swing.
roll a d6 and see what you get on the table. Like,
If you run through a door when Yog-Skoobath is in the area, you must roll a d100. That decides which door you run out of.
the best would be like for the encounters with Fred. One of them is just Fred dies of old age.
Just a straight
You're
up
too
Metal Gear
late.
Solid 3, like, you can time it out.
Yeah, that's enough of that.
All he has is his clothes are tattered and torn.
Yeah, it's just like an ascot, like, worn thin, hanging, not even tied anymore.
Okay.
I spent years creating my trap chamber.
Fred, it's just a room with 3 saw blades in it, man.
Oh, the traps! Ooh, how cunning I am! It's like, Fred, I know that there's a car battery hooked up to that metal doorknob. I know this because you hooked the car battery up to the same side of the door there.
He's just trying to relive his glory days. I feel like it's the same Fred. I feel like it's Coolsville Fred. And he came into contact, like, he's the only surviving member of the original Mystery Inc.
Yeah.
And they all came in to try to solve the Dullsville crisis, and he looked upon Yog-Skoobath, and he lost everything. And all
for
he,
his traps.
all he has left is that he knows he did traps. That's it.
That's the best. He only knows that he did it, but he doesn't know how he did it.
In his frail mind, because he didn't get old. He aged like 60 years in a day, I think, when he met Yog-Skoobath.
Yeah.
And he So he's trying his best, and they keep him around to humor him, but his anger and his lack of traps has taken him down a dark and sinister path. No more goofy, like,
I hate you!
So that's Fred. And then we have the Shagster.
The Shagster.
The Shagster. He's the leader.
He's the leader.
Yeah.
Because
He's the only one that can speak through Skoobath.
Yeah,
Like,
he's the only one who's ever come in contact with Skoobath and understood.
Yeah. Understood the insatiable hunger.
Yeah. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but Shaggy eats Scooby snacks sometimes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Which means, like, would that make this Shaggy a cannibal in that case?
I think he might be. I think he might just be like an awful dirty cannibal boy. And like not even in like a Hannibal Lecter way. I think he's just like an awful dirty cannibal. Like
Not even in the like, ooh, do you enjoy the flank of lamb we've been having? It's like they don't know that they're eating the detective or something.
Yeah.
He's just very clearly like lays a still warm body on the table. He's like zoinks! And then he unhinges his jaw and slides him down.
Oh man. Sean, I didn't want to be the guy who brought up Vor on this podcast. Who the fuck? Of course I wanted to be the guy who brought up Vor on this podcast. Does that mean Shaggy is into Vor? Would he Vor, or is he just a cannibal?
Yeah, I think he's just a kid.
I think he's just a cannibal.
Fuck.
Because I feel like Vor is for the sexual thrill. I feel Shaggy has moved beyond the base desires of flesh.
He does not thirst for sex. He thirsts for flesh, but not in a pleasurable way.
Yeah.
In a way to sustain his unending hunger because of the
Yeah.
connection he has with Yog-Skoobath.
Yeah, he's like always hungry, but nothing he eats makes him full.
Yeah, I feel like a common encounter with Shaggy is you hear a rustling around the corner, and you hear just muffled like thuds, and you turn the corner in the dark of night. You can just see the dim lamplight illuminating a hunched over figure in a green short and fucking big old boots. And he looks and turns towards you and says, "Like zoinks," as a finger drips from his mouth. And your only choice is run.
Yeah.
You cannot fight the Shaggy, not yet.
Is you need the help of a mentor who a cyberspace ghost.
Space Ghost! Cool, so we have our... Okay.
Somebody that Shaggy cannot eat.
He can't eat him because he's a ghost and a fucking cyber virus. The two things Shaggy can't eat.
Notoriously difficult to crush.
That's their. Okay, wait. Let's name the gang. First,
Okay.
I feel like we could go easy. We could go the cult of
Misery
Yog-Skoobath.
Inc.
Sean,
Misery Inc.
Sean, you're a genius.
Misery Inc.
Misery Inc. That's incredible. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. So we have Misery Inc. That's.
I like, so if it's Misery Inc., does that mean that there's a business front to this whole cult?
Oh, for sure. It's like lampshades.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, this is a tangent, but in my hometown, there's a lampshade store. Not like a lamp store or an electrical appliance store, just lampshades. And it has been around since my dad was born. Like, my dad's mid-50s at this point. So for over 50 years, there has been a store that only sells lampshades in my hometown, and it has been successful. It has to be a front of some kind. But I'm too scared to enter. Like, I don't know what'll happen to me if I go in there. Like, I've not met a single person that I know who has been inside the lampshade store. Not like my dad's generation, not my grandpa's generation, not my friend. Like, no one has been in, and yet somehow it's still around.
Next break, you gotta go in.
Dude, I don't know. I'm scared. I fear for my life.
Just get one of those pesky lamps that don't come with a shade,
Ah,
and then
you
you'll
know
have
the ones.
Yeah.
Fucking IKEA selling me lampless, shadeless lamps.
Lampless shades.
Like, God damn, I'm trying to interrogate this suspect with a swinging light bulb, but damn it, the feng shui's all off.
Okay. Anyway, Misery Inc. Yeah, it could be lampshades as their front, or is their business like, we're gonna fuck shit up and you're gonna pay us for it?
Yeah.
It's like extortion, where they said, oh, if you don't pay us, something bad could happen to your shop. They say, oh, if you don't pay us, something bad will happen to your shop.
So,
and also, something bad will happen to your shop regardless.
so it's like a mafia that just fucks you over anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, it's gonna be bad, might as well pay. Sort of.
I mean, we're gonna take the money anyway.
You can give us to us willingly or not. We'll still fucking kill you. Like,
That's it. That's their business model.
Yeah. They're like, okay. But I feel like they inspire so much fear that the town stays in hush about them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, outsiders who come into this town, they notice that something is strange, but not what, you know?
Because it's Dullsville. What could possibly be out of the ordinary?
Exactly. It's called Dullsville. Famous for just being nothing.
Yeah. You want a good time? You want a cool time? Head on over to Coolsville.
Coolsville's Coolsville, I think, has been like bombed out at this point. Mystery Inc. not there. Everyone's trying to steal fucking diamonds, I guess. I don't know. What are they doing?
Everyone's dressing up in like Halloween costumes and just breaking into places.
Coolsville's just fucking like Mad Max at this point, I think, without Mystery Inc. because they're all dead except for Fred.
Yeah.
And he might as well be.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Dullsville. Yeah, it's just whispered of in shadows, and their one savior is this glitch ghost. What was it? Did he have a name?
I don't know. I think he was just like the glitch or something like that. Because his origin was that he was a glitch in a video game.
Yeah,
right?
and then he became a ghost.
Yeah.
I guess.
That is up.
Oh, yeah.
Better put chalk lines for a baseball diamond in a Roman Coliseum because I'm a fucking idiot game designer.
It's the Phantom Virus.
The Phantom Virus.
The Phantom Virus.
The guy that designed him would totally have an anime icon if he was on Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's definitely tweeted "Gamers Rise Up" from his prison cell.
Alright, okay, so I feel like there's a couple directions we can take this. We can either continue into the deep and storied lore of Dullsville, we could take this naming convention and go elsewhere. I mean, there's Coolsville, there's Dullsville. Why not fucking Radsville, you know? Like,
The coolest town ever.
The one, not to be confused with Madsville, which ever since everybody moved to Coolsville, which is now Mads Max's place, is just a nice suburb.
In Radsville, everyone looks like they just got back from the beach. They just were surfing the whole day.
and it's funny because Radsville is about as far from the beach as any of these towns.
Yeah,
can
exactly.
be.
Like, there's no conceivable reason why they're wearing their swimsuits and everything, but they do it.
They do.
It smells like warm sand and ocean air. You sure bet it does, bro.
And, like, every now and then you get that, like, kind of yucky smell of, like, seaweed and stuff.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make sense because it shouldn't be there.
No, and there's seagulls. For some reason.
There's just souvenir shops all over the place.
People posing next to pictures of the beach, and they're like, "Yeah, it's right down the street." Where'd you take this picture? Right down the street. Where? Gotta go to the beach, and then they walk out the front door, and it closes behind them. And then when you open it back up, they're in a full-on sprint into the woods.
It's a deeply forested community.
This sounds like the biggest scam of the Vills.
I don't like. Is it a scam or is it? I don't know. Part of me feels like this might even be scarier than Dullsville.
Because why?
Like, they're
why is it
keeping
like this?
hush-hush about it, but everybody knows it's fucked up. They're just not aware that it's fucked up. It's like you ask them about the beach, how their vacation was. Why do they have a surfboard? How did they get tan? Why is it so warm outside when the sky is covered in clouds and their nose starts bleeding? It's like, guy hit the waves.
Cowabunga, dude.
Okay, who's Fred?
I feel like there's just one friend. He goes from town to town.
Like my traps?
This is where he tries to pawn off his traps in his souvenir shop that he owns.
Traps Emporium.
Traps Emporium. It's just a bunch of giant buzzsaws and like really loosely tied ropes. Just like the most obvious traps you can imagine.
And nobody goes in, but he does spend at least an hour every day there. I feel like he splits his time between every Ville.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know where he's from originally.
Yeah, that's the thing. And if he
doesn't
goes
know.
back to his original home, he wouldn't recognize
No,
it.
because it's fucking Mad Max now. It's Halloween Town.
I really like, because like in every single like beachside tourist place, there's always that one antique shop that you go in because you feel bad, but you don't buy anything.
Yeah.
That's Fred's place.
That's Fred's place.
Yeah.
Actually, fuck Traps Emporium. It's called Fred's Place.
Fred's place.
Or I feel like it has a name, but everyone just calls it Fred's Place.
And he's got his like his plate collection that he tries to sell with it.
And it's just, there's very clearly a string on the back of it connected to a pile of hand grenades. I know if I take this from you, it will pull the pin, Fred.
But we'll go in and we'll look at it. We'll almost take it.
We've got to hit the
hit the
beach. It's high tide.
And you just see whatever light just mystically appeared in his eyes immediately just leave.
Poor fucking just shell of a man.
And where does he go? He goes to Sadsville.
He goes to Sadsville.
Ooh,
I feel like
Sads-
Sadsville is like, it's not like sad for real, it's like fucking sad boy town. It's like everyone's writing poetry and wearing beanies. You know?
Everyone's quote unquote sad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I wish it would rain here more often.
And it rains all the fucking time.
It's like a fucking Pacific Northwest amount of rain. But it doesn't rain.
It is environmentally the same as Radsville, which is not at all. Radsville is the exact opposite of a beach community. Radsville.
We got Egadsville, which is full of mad scientists.
And I'm Gadzooks! I've invented a new trap at the Trap Expo!
And they do traps good.
I feel like there's also a feeling of like a malaise because they're doing all these schemes and setting up these traps, like they're sitting with their fingers like twiddling, waiting for a group of teens to come and solve their mysteries, and there are none.
Except for a poor sad old man that wanders into the town every year.
And everyone, they think they recognize him from somewhere, but they're just not sure where from.
And they set up all their traps, they get them primed, and then they see, like, in his backpack, a buzzsaw sticking out, and they're like, it's just another trap maker. Deactivate everything. Like, keep him alive.
Gonna make me a trap. Yeah, Gadsville is definitely like, and I feel like that's a fun setting because for your inevitable campaign.
Yeah.
Because you send your players there, and it's like. That's where it's fun because everybody's out to get them, but not in a malicious way. It's a real jovial kind of like, oh, I caught you in my trap. Oh, you fell in my pit. Okay, here's a rope ladder. Get back up. I can't wait for you to see what's in the next room.
This is a purely like reactive community where they're all just building traps, but none of them are like have the gumption to impose on the other one. So they're just waiting for the tourists to come in and like try out all their traps.
It's the place if you want to run fucking like a dark, grim dark campaign, you go to fucking Dullsville. But like if you want to run a campaign for your kids, go to Gadsville.
It's like the classic Scooby-Doo adventure too, because like you can pull off the mask at the end and be like, it was the guy who built all the traps.
I feel like they don't even have masks. They're just like, it was me. I did that one.
It's just a community of these like kind of like old men like in a cluster, and they just follow you from trap to trap, and then one of them will jump out of the crowd and be like, that was me, I did that one, and then they'll like shuffle over to the next one. It's like, step on this little pressure plate here, it'll be fun, I swear.
Whereas Fred is doing it very seriously. He thinks these are great traps, but they're bad. These scientists know they are great traps, and they want you to experience them, not just for the love of the game.
Yeah. Inexplicably, they're all named Old Man Jenkins. I feel like this sort of like this community, this continent we're setting up of vills, it's like Mystery Inc. served a niche in every one of these towns, you know?
And then ever since
Yog-Skoobath, like, that niche is empty. And that's the kind
of the players
that's where you come in. This is our gift to you, is we've killed beloved childhood characters, Mystery Inc. We've killed some of them, and some we've succumbed to a fate worse than death. Just for you, it's a gift, so now you can fill their niche.
Okay, let's come up with the stats of this RPG. I say how quickly you move is definitely the xylophone stat.
Okay.
The higher your score is, that's how many beats per minute there are. So if you got a low xylophone score, it's and then you can't move as quickly as somebody who has a high.
If you have I feel like the larger the size class you are, you get like marimbas. And if you're a tiny little guy, you get a little glockenspiel.
Yeah.
And then if you're really fast, then you have two people doing a duet.
It's just your xylophone stat.
Yeah.
Okay, that's movement speed. I feel like Zoinks has to be a stat. I don't know what it means, but I feel like it has to be
or like
a stat.
maybe like a catchphrase stat, because there's jinkies, jeepers, ruh-roh, you know.
What does Fred say? What does he say?
Let's split up and search for clues.
But that's not a catchphrase.
That's true.
They all have a thing. Fred doesn't. And I know you were about to say Fred says fuck, but Fred does not say fuck. He does not.
He doesn't say. He doesn't.
He
doesn't have a thing anymore.
Yeah, he says nothing anymore. I feel like,
ooh, try my traps.
Ooh, try my traps. And I feel like catchphrase is your charisma stat, effectively. Like, the better your catchphrase, the more people want to interact with you, which makes sense that Fred's, ooh, try my trap catchphrase gets him nothing.
I feel like the equivalent of like an armor class or something would definitely be your like whoosh stat. How you can just poof in a puff of smoke and the guy really slowly does like a hook and just misses completely.
Meddling has your intelligence, you know, like how good you are at meddling in these plans. Okay, so PHWUSHH.
Okay.
And that can be used in a certain action you can take is this is one of the hardest actions to do, but it makes you immediately escape a combat encounter.
Ooh, okay.
And you need to succeed on a xylophone a whoosh, and a catchphrase, and that's what happens.
Simultaneously.
Yeah. You roll whatever die we have, or whatever the system is,
Yeah.
and if you succeed on all
I
three,
feel like it's a coin flip RPG.
if you succeed on all three, you jump in the air, your character's legs go in a you say your catchphrase, and then you disappear in a cloud of smoke.
That's the equivalent of a critical hit. I think.
Yeah. And you immediately succeed on whatever you're trying to do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so we have Art of Whoosh is your effect, because they don't really do any physical fighting. It's more people are fighting them, and
Yeah.
they escape
They
or
escape.
get trapped.
Yeah.
So I don't think there needs to be a physical
There
strength.
doesn't need to be a that'll replace the strength stat, I feel like.
Yeah.
Is the special ability to just immediately escape. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have xylophone catchphrase, whoosh, meddling. I feel like
If you want, you know how like the golden party is cleric, fighter, wizard, rogue.
Yeah.
You need the brains. You need the brains. The leader.
the stoner, the dog,
Well, yeah, but
the fighter.
There's two races. There's human and animal.
Okay, yeah.
Because or like human and something. Because I feel like all Hanna-Barbera cartoons had something that talked that shouldn't have.
I feel like if we keep it human and animal, and then the fact that Yog-Skoobath occupies the space between is what makes him so horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I mean, I feel like those are pretty good. I mean, what else? I guess because meddling. I don't know if meddling is actually solving the mystery. You know?
I think meddling is like pulling a book and finding the right one on the first try.
Yeah.
Or like
So what's our stat for
Accidentally activating the turning
revolver.
fireplace or something.
So what's our stat for solving the mystery? I feel like with that we have our complete stat list for this.
I'm trying to think
Dullsville
of
RPG.
other things.
It's like clue searching.
Yeah.
Is it like a
Search for
certain
clues.
amount? Yeah, search for clues.
Search for
like,
clues feels like an action though, not a stat.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Also, I'm gonna say this is probably the only RPG wherein splitting the party is the preferred option.
Split up and search for clues is an essential part of the investigation round of the game. Xylophone, catchphrase, whoosh, meddling, and fuck, man, where'd all our cleverness go?
God, what? I'm trying to think of every episode.
Clue
I mean,
solving.
I can
It's
imagine
usually-
like it's like you have to get a critical mass of clues, and then you can use all those clues to solve the mystery,
Solve
and
it.
then that's how you win.
That's how you do it.
Gotcha.
So I guess you don't necessarily
Yeah.
need a stat for it.
It's
Yeah.
more so of like just your own little
Yeah,
personal
your-
wit.
your
Little
thinky
thinking.
thing. That's up to the player, you know.
Yeah.
I feel that's
Yeah.
up to you, player.
Yeah.
Cool. We got our 4 stats. That's solid. We have our races, which are human, animal,
Animal.
and then a forbidden race of other. And classes. Yeah, classes. Let's do classes.
Okay.
Trap maker. There
Trap
has to be a
maker.
trap maker.
Trap
class,
maker,
yeah.
make me a trap.
And you
I feel
hail
like-
from
you
what
from
do
from Egadsville.
from Egadsville. Yeah.
Well, I don't think you need to.
You don't need to.
need
You
to,
know,
yeah.
like you.
But
could-
you've read some of the sacred texts of Egadsville, you know?
But I mean, like you fill a niche in each of these communities, so you could be like somebody from Radsville who says, "I'm tired of eating all the this
Fucking chili
overpriced
dogs."
chili dogs that you get at the beach," because you're the shaggy like stoner archetype.
Yeah. Well, that's... Holy shit. They all come from a different town. All of Mystery Inc. comes from a different fucking town. Whoa. Sorry. Yeah, continue.
But I mean, so you decide to set out and find another town that might have good food, and so you can. That's what decides your background is which of the villas do you come
Which
from.
of the villains?
So I think there's 4 classes. There's
Trap maker?
Trap maker. I don't want to say stoner because that seems easy.
Food.
Hungry.
Hungry. No, and hungry is good, especially with our Yog-Skoobath lore, because hunger is the carnal sin of
It's
this
like
world.
you make a pact with Yog-Skoobath.
Yeah, hungry
be
is
able-
the warlock of this campaign.
To be able to throw an entire 14 fucking layer sandwich in the air, and it all goes down, toothpick and olive and all with no problem.
Yeah.
It goes
Okay,
layer
what
by
are
layer
the
onto your
primary
tongue.
stats of each?
Hungry has Trapmaker is meddling for sure.
Trapmaker's
Definitely.
meddling.
I feel like hungry is xylophone because you eat and run. You know, that's what you do.
Yeah.
You run to the food. You don't care about really anything else.
Yeah.
We have to have. I mean, the one who solves the goddamn mystery, right? I don't want to say investigator because I think that's kind of the overarching thing.
Yeah,
Because you're all invested.
Let's do brains.
Brains.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Trapmaker, hungry, brains, and brains has, I think a combination of meddling and catchphrase in there.
Should animal be a class? Because I feel like Scooby, what happened to be a hungry.
You are. I think you're.
Or no, but then that would make more sense.
He's an animal hungry. So yeah, I guess you could. Your animal doesn't have to fall into the hungry category.
Yeah.
So I think it's a race.
You could be like an animal trap maker.
Yeah.
Like,
You'd be
I'm
a
trying to
fucking
think of some
Rocket
example.
Raccoon or whatever, right?
Yeah.
From the Guardians of the Galaxy.
or like
Okay.
Roadrunner.
Yeah.
Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah,
he's
Wile E.
like
Coyote.
He's a trap maker animal.
He's a trapmaker animal.
Yeah.
Or Scrappy is a
meddler.
yeah, he's a meddler.
I'd say
He's not hungry, Yeah. Sorry, Rowan Atkinson. We really got rid of the Scooby-Doo train two episodes in a row here.
Yeah, wow.
Oops.
It's on the brain. I mean, Dullsville. What can we do?
Dullsville.
We need another class. Okay, so leader, shot caller. Because Fred doesn't.
I feel
it.
like I want to make this special.
Yeah.
I want to have brains be brains.
Yeah.
Instead of hungry, call them stomach. Instead of leader, call them heart. Or something.
What is
like
trapmaker then? Hands.
Yeah.
Fingies.
Phalanges.
Okay, never mind. This is a bad. Yeah, I forgot about trapmaker.
No, actually, I think it may be funny if they're all body parts of this trapmaker.
It's like in the D&D cartoon how he went through all the classes. He's like, acrobat.
Just not even kind of a class. Dude, I have the whole first season of that on DVD, and I haven't watched it yet, and I need to.
That's awesome.
Okay, so we have trapmaker, stomach, brains, heart, makes sense, and muscles.
The brawn.
So Fred was a multi-class trapmaker
Trapmaker
leader.
heart.
Yeah, trapmaker heart.
Yeah.
The telltale trapmaker heart.
Yeah, I say fists.
Fists.
Yeah.
And that's and I think that's where Daphne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're more niche than your class. Like Daphne was fists as her class, but her characteristics were very different. She played out of away from type.
Yeah.
Like somebody playing a half orc is like an aristocrat,
Mm.
It's totally possible. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, half orcs. Good. So we have our classes: stomach, brains, heart, fist, and trapmaker. we have our stats. We have xylophone, catchphrase, whoosh, meddling.
Do we want to change brains to eyes, which is why everybody
Yes!
in Velma's group just fucking hated her because it was
She was the eyes, but she couldn't
eyes,
fucking
but
see.
she's like, it's a character choice.
It's my flaw.
And they're just sitting around the table like, God fucking damn it, and the DM is Hanna-Barbera is sitting there behind her DM screen, just like, God damn it, this is gonna be another 4 rounds of this. Scooby and Shaggy, what are you guys doing? And then
Eaten.
and please say it in character voice. Oh, I'm sorry.
Like eaten.
Yeah, so eyes, heart, stomach, fists, brain.
Brain was eyes.
Yeah.
eyes.
Brain is now Trapmaker.
Trapmaker. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to leave that as Trapmaker. Trapmaker only exists as a class because Fred was like, yeah, I'm the heart, but what if we did traps? What if we did that? And Hanna-Barbera was like, okay, I'll hungry something for you.
It's just so obviously out of place with the rest of it.
He's like, I'll come up with a name for it later.
Okay,
Never did.
Oh wait, and that's why his trap making is so hobbled now. It's because he was like, what, this trap does 30 damage when you step on it. What's the big deal? And it's like, no, you can't do that. You lose all your trap making abilities.
It's like, okay, shit, we've got this glow-in-the-dark deep-sea diver. We've got him cornered. Yeah, let's get him, gang. And then he's like, what if we did a trap? And then they're just like, everybody knew that, oh shit, this is just gonna extend the session out. Like 2 hours. 2 more hours.
Every time you tell him no, he's just like, no, but wait, hear me out.
Yeah.
And then he forces everyone to roll charisma checks, and then they have to RP with him.
And he had and even though he took no points in catchphrase, which explains...
No, he took all points in catchphrase, but only no points in meddling, which is what you need to make traps.
So it's just bad traps.
But everybody was like, okay, you can't just take all your points in catchphrase and then not have a catchphrase. Like, I'll get to it.
He's like, everything I say is a catchphrase. I have a maximum catchphrase level.
And that's why
Come on,
no matter
gang,
what,
let's search for clues.
It's a catchphrase.
no matter what happened, they would always end up doing what he did because they
Because they can't win.
They couldn't. Hanna-Barbera was all about like the RPing, no metagaming.
Yeah,
you know?
no metagaming.
Luckily, Scooby and Shag, the stomachs managed. They always said, well, they had to leave because they had to fucking eat, dude. So like, can we wrap this up? And Hanna-Barbera was like, oh yeah, and then he trips into it. I don't know. All right, I like how we have like a dual lore going on, of, like the horrifying, awful lore of the death of Mr. Ink, and then also just like the D&D game on top of it,
which spawned this made-up game.
Okay, we have stats, we have classes, we have race, we have our setting. I'd say for the most part. We could. Where do we go from here? I mean, I think we gotta end out with a plot hook. But I think we can.
All the bills are plot hooks.
I know they're all plot hooks, but let's find a specific plot hook.
Mystery Get Ink is fucking dead. That's a plot hook right there.
A newspaper lands at your feet. The death of Mr. Ink. The protectors of the entire land.
Blows through the ruined streets of Dullsville, which is actually very cold now for some reason.
It's cold because everyone's heart has become like ice.
They become like ice. No one knows who each other are. They're all dressed up. It's like
that's why they need
I don't
to
even
dress
know
up.
who I am anymore.
That's why they need to dress up. It's too cold to go out in your normal skin without protective covering. So of course you gotta dress up with a spaceman with a skull inside his suit.
Yeah, they all went out to get warm clothing, and they're like, oh shit, the only clothes that get sold in Coolsville are whack-ass costumes.
Yeah, it's just like, it's really comfortable to me to be in all this mud. And that's where the mud monster comes from.
Oh.
Do you think there's an optional character class of playing as one of the monsters?
I feel like that's that. Do you think that's
that's
another
rule book.
race?
Yeah, that's like Xanathar's book of Coolsville. Where they put in monstrous classes and races, for sure. Which, it's all still just human, but like
but with the costume.
Are there magic items in this world?
Oh, absolutely.
What
There's an item for each of the members, I think.
Oh,
Or
there's
the
big
former Mystery Inc.
big magnet that has lines go straight lines, so you know it's working and makes a.
And it's got the North and the South Pole labeled, just so you know.
There's a magic item that you place it on a wall.
Yeah.
And it takes the form of a painting of a person with eyes that move, and
you can see through
You
it.
can see through those.
I feel like there's absurd sandwich maker, because no one has the time to make those fucking 4-story sandwiches. So you're just like, boom, here you are, 4-story sandwich. I feel like there's also legendary items out there that once belonged to the Mystery Inc., but now that they've been deceased, they're just sort of scattered to the vills.
Velma's glasses have
Velma's glasses are
Velma's glasses.
It's a cursed item. If it leaves your person, you go blind.
But I feel like it could be used for great power, because the only way to blind Vecna is to put the glasses
Exactly.
on her.
So it's like the One Ring where Boromir is like, this is a weapon, but also like, oh, but it's so evil.
And I was just like Zoinks, dude, I don't know about that.
There's definitely the last box of Scooby snacks. Oh, that's the fucking deck of many
That's
things.
the deck of many things.
You eat a Scooby snack and something happens.
So Velma's glasses are the eyes of the eye of Vecna. Scooby snacks are the deck of many things. Fred's ascot still remains with him.
Oh, Jesus.
But that is a legendary item. It's just bedraggled and tragic and awful. and its power has been locked away within it. I feel like his power and all of his memories
are locked in
the ascot.
So if you were to wear it, then the voice of the true Fred would speak into you. Yes.
I'm saying
the go-go boots, Daphne's go-go boots.
I looked it up. In
They're like
some
moon
versions,
shoes.
she doesn't have boots though.
Fuck it, this version she does.
Okay. She has a purple headband.
Okay, yeah, we can do the purple headband. It's the headband of fucking
Keeping hair back.
The headband of trust fund. You put it on, and your bank account is always full.
I think a legendary item could be the animator's toolkit, wherein once a day you're allowed to see which item you're allowed or you can interact with because it's clearly painted in on top of the background layer. So it's just like you're looking at 3 doors and you're like, oh shit, use it. And one of them is in much cleaner lines. Yeah. So he's like, okay, center door.
Oh man.
That's very good.
What's Shaggy's relic? The rest of them all have relics. What does Shag have?
Oh, it's gotta be like the toothpick with the olive on it from all the sandwiches.
From all the sandwiches.
And when you eat it, the olive reappears after one day, but you are overcome with the insatiable hunger of Shaggy. And sometimes, like
that boosts your boosts your abilities as if you're playing a hunger character.
But the HB Hanna-Barbera can roll a die and say, "Oh shit, you're so hungry, you take a bite out of the nearest person close." So then, like,
so hungry is sort of like the barbarian class.
Barbarian
rage.
Yeah, but barbarian mixed with warlock, wherein your rage ability comes from Yog-Skoobath.
I love this stupid lore we created.
I hate how we logically got to that sentence.
You can follow.
That's the curse of this podcast. Is we start from just like, this shit, and by the end, the things that we say make sense in the context of this nightmare. Like that's what's so horrifying about what we do here. It's not like, this fucking shit. And people are like, what does that even mean? Like, if you listen the whole time, it makes sense.
Everyone listening is like, because of Yog-Skoobath, it makes sense.
There's no greater joy than catching the author on like, I know what's gonna happen right before the twist. That's it.
But I feel like the joy for this podcast is a little dampened by the fact that you're like, wait, I just thought the sentence hungry is like the warlock mixed with barbarian because the rage comes from the Yog-Skoobath. Wait, that's why we're called Rotten to the Lore, because there's nothing good about what we do.
Easy.
All right. Let's finish it out. We're rounding about the hour mark here. How do we put the beautiful button, the bow tie, the ascot on our world, our world, Misery Inc. happening world. What's the olive on the sandwich we're missing here? I feel like there's something.
It's like you start in this world, and like what gets you into it?
Exactly.
I mean, besides this amazing setting, of course.
Of course, it's incredible. We do our job good. Cause like, what gets you in when you play D&D? It's not. I mean, I love fantasy, but it's not because of fantasy that I love to do it. You know. I think this is a tool for the DM. Because every crime, or the HB, sorry, not the DM. Every crime committed in the Scooby-Doos is just so useless. I feel like you have to random word generate your plot hooks. Like, that's a rule.
Okay, there is a botanist who robbed the sock hop.
And because of that, The system in this game, you don't roll dice with numbers, you roll dice with fucking words on them. There's like hundreds of dice in the starter pack of this.
What's my catchphrase? Zoinks!
And you have to make sense of those and rationalize them together. Yes, that's perfect. That's beautiful. Everything is by just random word generation, but not like digitally. No. It's on a dice.
I love the idea of like a hungry rolls for his catchphrase, and it turns out that it's something like "E-gods," and he's like, "Damn it! I should have chose Trapmaker. I knew it."
But that's a good character backstory. When you're from Gadsville, where you try to be a hungry, much to the chagrin of your old man Jenkins who raised you communally.
You're old man Jenkins.
I never had the eye for traps, but I had the stomach for food.
Oh, we have created many monsters today, and I am proud of us. Oh man! So if you want to use this campaign setting, you're gonna
now game system.
And now game system. You pay all royalty fees to rottentothelore.org. It's not a real website. Don't go there. But yeah, use our world. It's free. It's free for you. Use it. I fucking dare you.
I defy you.
I think that's gonna be it for us from here at Rotten to the Lore. Next time we might talk about Scooby-Doo again. I have no promises.
Just make this the recurring theme of every episode.
You guys want to turn this into just a Scooby-Doo lore podcast? Like Zoinks, dude. I've been Blake.
I've been Sean.
And I've been Brandt.
Thanks so much for listening to Rotten to the Lore.